Hello and welcome back to part 3 of my series on selling my UK business, my gym here in the UK. So as we discussed before, for a number of reasons, our lease is up and we've decided that we're going to close the business. I want to retire and it really is too much for my son to continue it. But we do have a lot of equipment to get rid of. So we have big cardio machines, some really heavy weights, lots of cable machines, pin loaded, and then these impulse plate loaded machines, which are really huge. There was no members in here when I started filming, now they're all coming in. So I might have to go to reception to finish. But look, this is a lot. So I'm going to retire to reception, let them have their music back on, and we'll carry on the conversation there. And of course, it's not just the machines that we have to sell. We've got a sunbed here. We've got flooring. We've got reception desk. We've got the sofa in reception. Cabinets, TVs. There's a lot. There's a lot to think about. CCTV systems, music systems. So what I did was I listed everything that there was to sell. So all the equipment, like the gym equipment, everything else, like the grills for the windows, the flooring. And I went through eBay to see what things were selling for in the last few months. Because there's no point going on eBay and seeing what people are asking. I wanted to know what prices things were actually selling for in the last few months. And I couldn't find everything I was looking for, but I could find something similar and I could get a good idea. Now, if I had months to sell, I could ask what I believe it's worth, but I've got 2 months, so I need to lower it a little bit more from what they sold for in the last few months. So that's what I've been doing. And it took me a long time to make this list and what asking price would be. Then, when I had the list, I started listing things on eBay. Now, of course, they can't collect them until 1st of September because we close on the 31st of August. And I think that's probably a bit of an issue for some people. You know, they don't know me. They don't know if I'm trustworthy or not. I mean, they can look up my business. It's quite obvious when you look at the machines where I am. But I can kind of get that. I put the list out in reception because a lot of members were asking for machines, and they've brought some of the cardio and the pin loaded and the weights and the benches and stuff. But they, of course, are happy to pay for it up front to secure it because they know me and they trust me. And they know I'm not going to sell it twice or not hand it over. So that's been a bit of a challenge, really. I did go and, so you have these companies that buy second-hand gym equipment, refurbish it and then sell it on. And I did go to them to see what they would pay. I knew I wouldn't get the same value I would if I sold it myself, but just get an idea. Well, the amounts they were coming back with were ridiculous. They were offering me basically for every bit of equipment in the gym, less than I could get for 3 pieces of equipment. I was like, well, I can't do that, can I? So it's really tricky because I don't want to be stuck with it. What am I going to do with it? Now, I put the notice out to members. I think I mentioned this on my last video on a Monday morning. By that evening and the next day, I was being inundated with calls from people interested in taking on the gym. And I explained to them, you'd have to go to the landlord, get a new lease, and then I'd be happy to sell, my equipment and all the gym accessories and everything that goes with it. But the landlord was asking for a bit too much rent. I did have a conversation with the landlord. We had a meet up and we had a chat about it, and there was some movement in there. But there's not a lot of time for people to make a decision. So I'm still talking with people, but I'm not sure it's going to go anywhere. But we'll keep trying. Oh, the other thing I did was I made a video of the gym, of all the equipment, just walked around and videoed like as much as I could, and put that on Facebook Marketplace because it takes so long to load everything one by one. So I thought, let's give this a go. Just do a video and say, sell and hold everything in the gym. If you see something you like, drop me a message. Oh my goodness, I had never had so many messages in my life. And there was I made a couple of sales. I had an awful lot of time wasters, like saying they wanted something they were going to pay. They were not, just wasting my time. Now, I can't just take it on a promise that someone's going to come here on the 1st of September and collect something, because if you've ever sold anything on Facebook Marketplace, I bet you'll say the same. 50% of the time, they never show up. They just never show up. It's so infuriating. I can't afford to do that with the gym. If they want it, they need to pay for it now, so I know it's going, not just give me a promise that and then I don't offer it to someone else. So it's very tricky indeed. Yeah. I've also got to, start tidying up the place so I don't get too many delapse. There's nothing wrong with the building. We've maintained it well. But, the paintwork's a bit chipped and, give it a paint. There's a couple of holes in the wall where there will be when there's heavy weights flinging around. Yeah. That keeps me busy. So when I put the message out to the members, it was the worst email I think I've ever had to send in my life. I felt absolutely sick having to send it because I was going to be so disappointed, and you can't help but feel a bit of a failure, even though I don't think we have failed, but you do feel like that a little bit, don't you, in that you're letting people down. But there's just no way we can continue running this. There's no way James could run this on his own with all the other businesses we've got going. It's just too much. It's a lot of hard work running a gym. I think people think, it's like the best job in the world. It's more to it than just walking around showing people how to use a machine. It's like owning any business with premises. People's safety is paramount. You've got to do checks all the time. You've got to check the machines every week. You've got to check the fire alarms every week. You've got to make sure your insurance is up to date, that you're doing everything to comply with insurance. It's really hard work. Anyhow, so I sent it out, and I was expecting, when I had to come in that afternoon, I was feeling like, I'm going to get such a backlash from this. But I have to say, my members have been, they've just been incredibly supportive. And they get it, they understand that after 10 years, they know I want to retire, and they know that James is busy with other things. So they're very disappointed, but they have been supportive. And I've had some beautiful messages from members, I had emails, texts, and I've had them come up to me in the street and just thank us. Let's just say thank you to you and James for providing this wonderful facility for all this time. When we started this gym, we're so anti-steroid, so we didn't want that kind of gym. And with a name like Extreme, we had to be so careful that we weren't giving off that vibe. And we wanted it to be an all-inclusive gym, but where people would come because they wanted to train seriously. We have the best machines in the area. We have the best weights. We have that facility for people. We just wanted it to be all-inclusive and a safe space for people to come and train. And I've had some wonderful reviews on Google, and that have really touched my heart, what people have said about me. And with the messages we've been getting now, we realise we haven't failed. We've been so successful in achieving this. It makes it a bit sadder, really, to give it up. But I've got to go. I've got to move on. I've got to retire. End of an era. Anyway, I better go and crack on, and get tidied up and sell some more stuff. And I'll catch up with you next week. I'll give you another instalment of where we're up to. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you soon. Bye.